Ladies and gentlemen, we're here.
I'm part of the clique, isn't everybody?
Yes! 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 I got an idea, yeah. Beat up John Cena!
Give me a hell yeah!
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Too sweet! It doesn't matter!
Oh, it doesn't matter!
This is where the power lies!
I am the man.
We need you if you can survive!
It's showtime, folks!
The following episode is scheduled for one fall, and it is for your listening pleasure. This is In the Clique.
What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my good brother from the Fight Game Podcast. It's John LaRocca. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Here to talk some more wrestling on the In the Clique podcast. I'm excited.
I know, me too. Of course, like I've said many times before, you make me look good. You're my Bobby the Brain Heenan. I was thinking about this on the drive home today. I can't believe I'm admitting this. On the drive home, I was like mentally game prepared. Okay, what else I got to do when I get home today? I was like, oh yeah, I got to record with John. And I was thinking about it. Man, so much has happened in the last few days as far as breaking news in the world of pro wrestling, but just awesome shows and events that's taken place. And I was like, I can't wait to talk about it with John and get John's perspective. And I joked about this on Twitter before. I'm starting to watch matches through your eyes now. Like I'm thinking, what would John think about this match? And so, like I said, your influence, your positive influence is coming on to me now, and it's like taking effect on me. So anyway, like I said, all this wrestling that happened in the last few days, and yeah, so much to break down, talk about, and as you and I were just talking off the air, we're prepping for a busy week. WrestleMania week is coming up, so technically next week, I guess, is the full week where everything begins. Monday Night Raw, the Go Home Show, Hall of Fame, NXT TakeOver Night 1, Night 2 on Thursday, SmackDown, WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, the fallout on that following Raw, the night after WrestleMania, and technically the breaking news of NXT will be moving to Tuesdays on that Tuesday. So it's a week and a half of content. And I guess, yeah, maybe just your quick little thoughts on, it's official now, NXT is moving to Thursday nights. It was announced USA Network extended the contracts, I guess, a contract extension with WWE, specifically with NXT, but part of that's going to move to Tuesday night starting Tuesday. Was it April 13th? I think it is. So yeah, just your thoughts on it moving to Tuesdays.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of expected and talked about for a few months now, ever since, was it NBC Sports was going off the air, and where hockey was going to go. And I'm not a hockey fan. San Jose Sharks are in here where I'm at, but I'm just not a hockey guy.
Yeah.
But apparently, big night for hockey is Wednesday nights. That's their night on television. So, and it was going to be put on USA Network. So this would probably, if they would have kept NXT on Wednesdays, it'd be preempted so much. They just decided to move it. And the USA giving them an extension is a good sign that they liked how they performed on television. So I guess it's a win-win. I mean, God, for what WWE produces that TV show and with the money they're getting from USA, it's like, hey, they're not upset about moving, and I'm sure AEW can spin this that they won the war and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't really a war. I mean, it can't be a war when no one's breaking $1 million, So.
Exactly. It's funny you say that. So I listened to Chris Van Fleet's interview with Eric Bischoff within the last couple weeks that came out, and yeah, he's like, yeah, it's not a war. A war was, like, he brought up good points. Like back in the day in the 90s, it was WCW versus WWE, and these are like the A team from both shows, big names. While the Wednesday Night Wars, what we have now, it's NXT, which is WWE's third brand, versus AEW, a new company. And while there are some big names there, there's a lot of upcoming people. So it's just a different perspective. Yeah. While on paper, yeah, it's one company versus another company. So therefore, theoretically, people want to call it a war. But as far as NXT, like I said, the third brand, and where it's like ranked as far as WWE's like priorities as a show and who's on that roster, it's a whole different world. So that was interesting. And then Chris Van Fleet also, I listened to his interview with Vince Russo as well. I was just curious. I wanted to hear what he had to say. And yeah, he said, bro, it's not a war. They don't break 1 million at all every week. So it's not a war. It's not like back in the day when 10 million people. So it was interesting to hear that perspective as well. So,
but for AEW's fan base, that their loyal fan base, their narrative is that we won and that's the raw the troops. It's same thing with ECW would talk trash about WCW or even not really WWE because they end up helping ECW out a lot. But early on it was a lot of WCW trash talking about ECW just to rally up the this is what we think wrestling is. This is better than what WWE is or WCW. So
and it's also interesting because I guess like technically this whole Wednesday Night War, I guess officially lasted just about 78 weeks. So a lot of people like to compare it to like Eric Bischoff's 83 weeks. So there's that comparison there. So it's almost about the same length. For me personally, I'm happy with that. Them going to Tuesdays just from my own TV watching. And then also by that, NXT going to Tuesdays, Impact Wrestling officially announced they're moving to Thursdays on Access TV, which has more been their traditional night for a long time over the years, despite the various networks they bounced around, but they got a pretty good home now on Access TV. And then, so I was thinking in my head, okay, the Wednesday Night Wars is over, but now there's a new war on Tuesday nights, NXT versus NWA Power. That's the new war. For everyone out there, that's the new war. We got to get that trending. But in all seriousness, I'm like, cool. It spreads it out. I don't get me wrong. I love Wednesdays. I've really been amped up. Like I'd be at work. I'm like, all right, can't wait to go home. Maybe take like a nap and then watch one show first and then watch the other one afterwards. So I was like, all right. But then at the same time, it's like, man, that's 4 hours of wrestling in one sitting and it's a lot to process. And I'm trying to get in the habit of doing more live tweeting. But for me, I don't know how people watch two shows at the same time and live tweet. I feel like you're missing so much action. For me, I like to watch one show at a time and do my best to like live tweet. So with that being said, it'd be easier for me to just watch one show, enjoy it, take a break, and then the next night watch the other show, live tweet that. So for me, just mentally, it'd just be a lot easier to process and deal with.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, it's going to be easier for me because, on the podcast that, I'm on, the Fight Game podcast with Gary Gonzalez, we do our likes and dislikes of NXT and AEW Dynamite. And I'm, I don't mess around. I concentrate on this stuff. I take notes and, so like it's sometimes that, it takes like, 4 hours. I watch back to back and like, I hate it when it runs to like, for me, I don't have the East Coast feed. I have the West Coast feed. So I have to watch 8 o'clock, right? They're both on the same time. So I watch one and then watch the other after. And then I can go to like 1 o'clock in the morning because I'm stopping, typing, and all this stuff. And so, like, for me, my schedule, my life, it's going to make it easier for me. Now it's on Tuesdays.
Yay for adulting. Us adults would appreciate this move. Just better schedule.
Then I can sneak in a sitcom with the wife, and spend some quality time. And so it all works out for everyone.
Absolutely. I'm with you. So, like, I'm trying to catch up on The Flash and the new Superman show on the CW. And it's tough because like I'm watching so much wrestling. So it'll be a little bit easier. I can watch one show like Tuesday, and then when that's done, maybe I can watch The Flash and like other stuff that I'm interested in outside of pro wrestling, other shows and TV shows and superhero stuff that I'm interested in. So I'm like, all right, this might be a little bit easier for me. Of course, yeah. These, various shows and stuff that kind of focus on the Wednesday Night Wars. I get it. That might change things up a little bit and people's recording schedules and all that stuff. But in the long run, the big picture, I'm actually very happy about this move. So, for the
Fight Game podcast, we're still going to cover both shows because we feel it should have a balanced perspective of both shows. So we're still going to continue it, and I mean that's good because I really like NXT overall, and AEW is always fun and crazy and some wackiness that drives me nuts. So
yeah,
I think our audience does get a kick out of me just going batshit for stuff they do.
Well, I'm like, for me, I'm trying to get in the habit now of reading your tweets and then listen to the podcast for again a full explanation of your viewpoints on everything. So I highly recommend to the Clicksters out there, follow John on Twitter and then read his like initial thoughts of the show, and then listen to the podcast Friday morning when it comes out, when it drops, and then you get the full discussion and all that stuff. So that's why I like I said, I fully embrace the brain of John LaRocca and just the coverage that you provide for everyone. Love it.
So we're gonna dive into some ROH. This is new for me.
So I mean, listen, I know for you and I mean, between all of our shows we do and everything, you know, we talk WWE, NXT, AEW, more NWA even last week. And so with that being said, I want to give some love to the other promotions. You know, you and I have also done New Japan stuff. And a show or a company that has a big legacy in America, North America, I should say, is Ring of Honor. And this past Friday night was their big 19th anniversary show on pay-per-view. And I was actually kind of looking forward to this. I was excited. I was like, I saw the ads for it a few weeks ago that was coming up. I was like, okay, awesome. And Philip and I did the December show, end of last year, and it was a lot of fun. I will admit, I don't watch a whole lot of Ring of Honor on a regular basis, but to their credit, kudos to them, their digital team. They do an awesome job of putting highlights of each show that they've been doing since they've been back from the pandemic or on their hiatus, and putting highlights on their YouTube page. They do an amazing job of just like, okay, we had like 3 matches on this week's episode of Ring of Honor, and they put highlights on their YouTube page within the next day or something, putting a lot more clips. I'm like, that is awesome, because people who maybe are busy, at least they can get like the bulk of it. So kudos to them. So I've been casually trying to keep track of stuff when I can. And so when this 19th anniversary show was coming up, I was like, all right, I'll watch this. You know, it's a big coming ahead of like all their current storylines, big show. And I was super stoked. And of course, you expressed your interest as well. I'm like, all right, let's watch it. Let's talk about it and have some fun. So, just, you know, curious your overall takeaways from the show, and then we'll kind of break down the highlights of this card.
I thought overall it was an okay show. I mean, I think they had 2 really good matches, and even their cinematic match, which is it? Would we call it a cinematic match? I guess
yeah.
It is, because I guess
they said
so.
The tape was here. We don't know what's on the tape. I like how they kept saying tape. We don't know
one
what's
looks
on
at the tape. No one looks at the tape. Just, what if someone got shot and killed? Like,
I know. Let's just play it. We don't know.
Play it.
Sight unseen. Just play it.
Yeah, standards and practices on Fight TV is not that big of a deal, I guess. Or on what was that? Honor Club, I guess.
Yeah.
But you know, but for the most part, other stuff is okay. But so I guess an okay overall of the pay-per-view. But like you, I don't watch a lot of Ring of Honor. I used to watch. I'd watch here and there. I would watch a pay-per-view here and there. I remember watching Jeff Cobb stuff in ROH when he was there. You know, watch some of his stuff.
Yeah.
But you know, I haven't really kept up since their run. I know they had the Pure tournament was really successful. People like talking about that. And you know how you just so much stuff out there. It's hard to fit everything in. But shoot, now that the pandemic, I'm still hanging at home. You know, social distancing. So a lot of free time on television to watch stuff. I'm like, let's check out some ROH pay-per-view. You know, so
yeah.
So what'd you think overall?
No, I had fun. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons as always. I've said this before. So their arena that they work out of in Baltimore, Maryland, I really like the setup in there. I like how they got the ring, but then like they got these really big, walkways, outside the ring before the barricade. The walls are there. So it's like, I feel like they do a lot of action in that extra wide space. I really enjoyed. I guess because of the extra wide space they put there doesn't lead to a bigger table space for their announcers, which I laughed at your tweet when you said you felt bad for the commentators, the 3-man team of them, Rocky Romero, Riccaboni, and then the other guy, I saw you posted, Caprice Coleman. So I was just laughing. They would cut to them, you know, in between matches, and like they're all like, as you tweeted out, they're all like sitting on each other, and the table is smaller, so you see on the outside their legs just hanging out there. And I'm like, can't you get them a bigger table and more than one monitor? Like, what the
I
hell?
had to take a double take. I'm like, wait, what? Are they on like a speaker, like a production box, right? It's not even like a table. It was like a roll through
A crate, yeah.
a crate. Yeah. And when I tweeted that out, I think Caprice Coleman must have felt the same way because he liked my tweet. He was not the. I just thought it was funny because usually people get pissed when I say stuff, but I think it looked ridiculous. And they're all hovering over each other. And why is there a 3-man booth for such a small table? Even though Rocky is good, Caprice Coleman is good. I actually like Riccaboni too as well.
Yeah.
But I think they only needed 2 people.
I like Caprice, like, throughout the night, he goes, yeah, Riccaboni. Like, that's in my head the way he says it. So,
And he had a classic moment when they came back from the Matt Taven Vincent match. His look on his face, like, what the heck was that?
That was great. So they had a couple matches on the pre-show. I didn't have a chance to watch them, but it looks like Brian Johnson defeated Danhausen, Eli Uzum, I believe, in LSG. So it looked like it was a 4-corner survival match. Shane Taylor Promotions defeated Mexi Squad. It was a 6-man tag team match for the Ring of Honor World 6-man Tag Team Championship. As we saw later in the night, they had a highlight package. I guess Mexi Squad had a little bit of falling out, specifically Flamita just getting pissed off at the other guys, and so they all decided, okay, we're not on the same page. Let's have a triple threat match later in the night. So we'll touch on that in a second. So opening match, Tracy Williams took on Kenny King, who was, I guess, filling in for his LFI teammate Dragon Lee, who was apparently injured. So defended the ROH World Television Championship. Not a super long match, about a little over 7 minutes. Hard hitting, a lot of slaps in this one. Tracy Williams, who's also part of the Foundation, if I just remember correctly. Yes, part of the Foundation. And so the Foundation, their big thing as a faction right now, they want to get all the gold in ROH and therefore purify it. That's their big mission right now. Good opening match. I know the finish was kind of bad. So, but yeah, any thoughts you have for this opening match here?
Yeah, I didn't think it was that good. I think there was like a ref visually could see what was going on. During what's a chair spot or something like that. I'm trying to remember. It's been a couple days.
Yeah, because your tweet here said Amy Rose threw in the TV belt in the ring.
Yeah, TV belt, that's right.
And the ref, it was right in front of the ref.
And he doesn't do anything about it. He just looks at it like, oh, okay, go ahead, use it.
And they both start grabbing for it, but then Tracy pile drives King to get the win. But King kind of pushed the belt a little bit. It slid, but it was still in the ring. So I don't know if the point was he was trying to pile drive him onto the belt, but completely missed. But very kind of sloppy. So I mean, congrats, Tracy Williams. He's got the belt.
And I saw Ken King, and I'm like, he's still there. He's been that going for a long time. Really, and I never really been that impressed with him either. So it's like, I don't know if he can't go anywhere else. No one really wants him, but it's just, I don't know. I'm just not really that impressed with him. Tracy Williams is I think he's a good guy at the card, but he just doesn't stand out to me. I think he's okay. Nothing. There's nothing special about him.
And I'm actually glad you brought that up. And that's something I kind of noticed. So Ring of Honor, since their return from their hiatus, they're really trying to a little bit of a what's the word? Not resurgence, but they're trying to, change things up, kind of have a fresh start and really focusing on the pure tournament and back to the honor code and the pure wrestling and get back to basics. I guess what they're known for, what they got really popular for in their early years. It's all about the wrestling and just they're trying to be one of the best technical wrestling promotions out there. With that being said, I feel like everyone that's on the roster right now, the majority of them all kind of look the same, if that makes sense. They keep it simple. They got the tights, their gear. No one really stands out from a personality standpoint, a charismatic standpoint. I mean, maybe Dalton Castle a little bit. Yeah. But you get what I'm saying? Just from overall the current roster, I felt like a lot of these guys just all kind of looked the same. No one really stood out from a big personality. I'm like, whoa, that guy is cool. I want to be like him. They all, I don't know if that's just the mindset right now. They all kind of want just no gimmicks, no crazy stuff. We're just going to focus on the wrestling here. So I don't know. It's
No, I agree. I agree. No one really stood out as this big personality to me, or no one like. There's some good talent there. I mean, I guess Rush did. I mean, he's a star. Jay Lethal's a quality talent, right? He's really, really damn good. Gresham's good. You know, they have some good talent. I just think they need to spice it up with some different looks, bigger guys, maybe change some things up a little bit. I mean, you know, like a guy like Kenny Keith's like, guys, how long has he been there for? And
with TNA before, back in the day, right?
Yeah, for a short time, but I don't remember. I mean, he doesn't stand out, so I just don't understand why would you keep someone that long. But
and then next up was Flip Gordon taking on Mark Briscoe. Pretty good match as well. Flip, I mean, I know the big thing, like he has no more social media. He went silent, I guess, because of just weird things he's been posting online. A lot of people don't agree with a lot of his stances, so that's on him. But this match, you know, Flip Gordon, very athletic guy. Briscoe, obviously the Briscoe brothers are just kind of known for their, I don't know what, big hoss, you know, fighting style, crazy look. You know, this match was going pretty good. And then I saw what you put on Twitter as well. Like, just, it was a bad finish. Like, Briscoe, who's in control, he grabs for the chair. So I don't know if he put it in the ring and was going to try to use the chair to leap off it and get Flip Gordon outside. But then, you know, the ref grabs the chair and then Flip Gordon was able to capitalize and get the win. And then he had the low blow as well. That's right. There was a lot of low blows in the first part of the show.
A lot of ref distraction. The first three matches had ref distractions. And I thought this match was going good, and then all of a sudden, like, Mark Briscoe, who is in control, grabs a chair. I know he's kind of a crazy man of the Briscoe brothers group, but it just didn't make sense. If you're going to take the chair to jump off it, just go to the top rope and jump to the floor. Like, why do stuff to question people, like, take you out of the match, makes you get out of your suspension of disbelief and be like, why would he get that? Why would he get that chair if he's already in control? That stuff just drives me insane. And
what I get frustrated is when you have a pay-per-view and you still have kind of like these wonky finishes. It's not perfectly clean. I get like maybe one type of a cheating finish, but you know, I as for them being like going back to the pure wrestling, they still using these crazy little tactics for the bad guys to win. I kind of want like more clean finishes, you know, kind of what NXT is taking pride on the last few years for the most part, that when it comes to takeovers, it's one-on-one and someone's going to win cleanly and, you know, tell a good story in the ring. So, Ring of Honor, just kind of interesting. Yeah. I think what you said on Twitter was just kind of lazy with the low blows and stuff. So,
yeah.
Next up, Josh Woods took on Dalton Castle. So Josh Woods, I guess, reunited recently with Silas Young, who's kind of like his mentor for a while. Just kind of what I've been able to gather, observing off and on with Ring of Honor. So he comes out with him to the ring. Really good match for the most part. You know, Josh Woods was getting a lot of offense in. Like, I like how he would run and just slam Dalton Castle with the elbow to the head and stuff. Dalton Castle, as I mentioned, you know, he's kind of more the flamboyant guys on the roster. So when I see him wrestle, I'm like, okay, cool. I like his big personality. But nonetheless, the match was going good for the most part, until Silas Young got involved in the match as well. So another kind of interference. Silas Young, was getting mad that Josh Woods wouldn't cheat or take the chair and beat Dalton Castle with the chair. Josh Woods trying to be a babyface, like, no, I'm not going to win that way. And then, there was a ref bump, and then Silas Young hit Josh Woods with the chair, and then Dalton Castle was able to get the victory. So another, like, the first three matches have like a ref bump or some sort of distraction. So I'm like, come on, man, can we have like a better finish here?
Yeah, the match was like, it was going good as well, and the finish got really wonky, and that really took it down for me. I like Josh Woods though; he's a good prospect, a good size, good look. Like this, yeah. I don't watch the show, so I don't know how he is on promos, his personality, but yeah, he's still young. And Dalton Castle, who just recently signed an extension with them, so he's still going to be in ROH. He's always good, but he seems to have lost his mystique about him. Like, he's come out with the whole the boys and the production, and He just came out with a T-shirt. I know he's been ravaged with injuries and you know, the bad back. That's why he has that brace on there. And at one point, he was highly, you know, touted for, you know, WWE or NXT or whatever. Like, they really wanted him. So I wonder what happened there, why he hasn't, you know, moved on, and why he decided to start ROH. Maybe he didn't have the offers. I don't know, but he'd be a good guy for AEW to get too. A good quality guy, you know.
AEW likes the big personalities, and so if he can kind of recreate some of that charm on a bigger stage like TNT and AEW's platform, I'm sure he will go over really well, and then he'll be the hot toy for a few weeks, and then they'll forget about him and you know, do something else. But
he'll be on Dark like Ethan Page. Debuts on a pay-per-view. Wrestles on Dynamite. Gone for 2 weeks on AEW Dark, and no one gives a shit about.
I know. Ethan Page, big debut, and where's he at?
The big signing. Such a mystery. He had to keep his name a mystery for the ladder match. And they
got all these big monsters: Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Miro, and then they all kind of fall to. Sorry, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother discussion. So next up, Jay Briscoe took on EC3, and I really enjoyed this match. This one felt a little bit long. Yeah, it was. Wow, it was the longest match of the night, 20 minutes and 55 seconds, bell to bell. I really enjoyed the storytelling here. First off, EC3 finally got some ring gear now. Looking very tan. I was looking at him, and to me, he looked like Randy Orton a little bit. I know he's bigger, but just kind of his style, like he was kind of slithering the ring a little bit, kind of being more menacing. And him and Jay Briscoe were there was a lot of slow moments as well, but when they would explode and do a big move on one another, I felt those felt really more impactful in that form of storytelling. EC3, like at one point, Briscoe really started focusing on his neck a lot. That was the big thing, was attacking the neck, going after that, and that's how it kind of got EC3 down for the second half of the card, or excuse me, of the match. But overall, I was really digging the pacing of it. But I know for you, even stuff you were tweeting out, you really like enjoyed the storytelling here.
Yeah, this was the best match on the show so far. Really well wrestled. I like EC. He looked shredded, man. I never see them look that good. And he always has like the great genetics and, you know, looks great. But he's like, I don't know, what, 5% body fat or something like that. He looked amazing. And I like that they wrestled, you know, like, they worked the side of the headlock really well and really wrenched on it, and you can almost feel it through the TV how much that side headlock hurts. And just good quality workers. You know, Jay Briscoe's really good. The Briscoe brothers really good. Those are like good lifers to have on your company. The Briscoe brothers, right? I wouldn't, you know, those guys won't get stale because they're so good. Kenny King, that's a different kind. That's my, you know, that's what I'm talking about here. You know, there's certain guys you can keep. Jay Lethal, the Briscoe brothers, but you know. It's always interesting, like, yeah, Kenny King's still there, you know.
You brought up a good point as far as with this match, as far as the storytelling. So, you know, they were like trying to be really strategic and like, you know, react to one another and put on these wrestling holds and whatnot. So when they did like a big power spot, it really felt more impactful. Like I said earlier, that was one thing I kind of wish, like a crowd was there who would react to those big moments, and then they can feed off that. So it was interesting, empty arena setup. So, you know, when it's a little bit of a slow storytelling, a slow burn, I feel like it kind of like amplifies even more when there's no crowd there to kind of fill in maybe those gaps from a presentation standpoint. I know for the next match, you really brought up how not having a crowd there really was how it really affected that one. But just to wrap up this match here, so ultimately Briscoe picks up the victory, working on the neck a lot, and you know, Jay Briscoe won here, and I liked how they shook hands afterwards. So that's kind of the big code of honor thing with Ring of Honor, shaking hands before the match. EC3, I mean, I really thought when he appeared to Impact post being released from WWE, he was going to stay there. I didn't realize it was going to be such a short deal. But it looks like he's really found a new home at Ring of Honor. And to Ring of Honor's credit, they've really been trying to, I think, restock their roster. And so, you know, listen, I mean, WWE, sure, they have a lot of people there, but they have so many people, not everyone gets screen time. AEW's roster is getting really stacked now. Impact, they're adding to their roster, but I know probably they have a limited budget. How many people they can sign. So Ring of Honor, I think, can really benefit by getting some really good free agents out there. And so EC3, if they can keep them around for a while, that's really good. The veterans you just mentioned. So I think long term, Ring of Honor in this whole revival for them, that's a good sign for them. And I think for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to start focusing a little bit more on Ring of Honor and see maybe who else they can bring to the fold. And I have one idea for a free agent in a little bit, but a little teaser. I think Andrade, that'd be a good spot for him to go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
So we'll get into that more with some of the other guys on this roster so far. So next up was the triple threat of the Mexi Squad, based on their frustration taking it out on the pre-show. So yeah, they decided, all right, the Mexi Squad, let's have a match here. And I know, John, you were very critical of this match, specifically with no crowd being there.
Yeah, the no crowd being there and no piped in noise, no atmosphere with some not paid fans, or just, like employees that kind of make some noise in the background and just kind of like, create that atmosphere. Really expose the Lucha Libre style. They try to have a story with the, Flamita having issues with both guys, but the no crowd, you could just feel the performance. Like this is just a routine, and they're going through their things, and it just doesn't really work for Lucha Libre, in my opinion. So I was not a fan of this match at all. They did some cool moves. It was like watching fireworks on 4th of July. Oh, that's pretty cool. Next morning, you're like, okay, we're good. It's just, there's nothing that really makes you like think back, like, man, that was amazing. I can't, wait to see what's going next.
Well, and I think the Lucha Libre style has become so mainstream now. I think we see it so much in all these other promotions. I mean, the Young Bucks and everyone on AEW who does that regular style pretty much every week on Dynamite. Growing up in the 90s and watching WCW when the Lucha Libres would appear there, it's like, whoa, like I don't see this that often. So when it was like a big deal when these guys were doing it, but now we kind of see every promotion has a group of guys who does that style, and you see it so much now. So it's like, it's kind of just become very saturated here in North America. Nonetheless, I mean, they're doing these crazy moves. I'm like, God, they're so damn athletic. I mean, just respect to them for that alone. But yeah, from a story standpoint, it's like just one spot after another, feels very choreographed, guys standing there waiting for the next spot to happen. So it's like, okay, it seems like guys are just practicing their moves for another match. That's kind of something what it feels like.
I could be the only guy in the world that does not like Bandito's German suplex finisher.
Really? Okay, I was just about to mention that fit, or so the finish here, it looks like it says Horace and Flamita try to hit a Doomsday crossbody on Bandito, but Bandito caught Horace, flipped backwards into a Poison Rana on Flamita, and a backflip fallaway slam on Horace. It was crazy, and then he finished with the 21 plex on Flamita for the pinfall win. It's interesting to execute, but in order to execute, the other guy has to help set it up like drastically. Like,
it's like the guy setting it up has to literally have his ass out, middle rope, ass out to the middle of the ring, hold the middle rope while Bandito goes, waist locks him, but flips up on his back, so where his back is on his opponent's back, his legs are hanging on the top rope. He used the spring momentum to go over again and hit a German suplex. And all that shit to Herman hit a German suplex? Like, it's just, I know it's flashy, but at the same time, I think you make your opponent, I would hate to take that move like, I gotta sit here and wait for this guy to do this thing where I look like an asshole. You know, like,
absolutely.
And so, I don't know, to me, I hate moves like that. Just like, that just don't make sense. Like, why would you do this extra 3 steps if you're just going to deliver a DDT, like.
I mean, listen, call me old school, but like, why I love Stone Cold, like literally he can just kick you, bam, hit you with the stunner, or Randy Orton, RKO out of nowhere, literally he can like just catch you and just snap you down. I mean, so it's those moves, those finishers, because of like, you got to be careful because they can easily do it to you when you're not paying attention.
I was almost going to be a dick on Twitter the other day, but I saw this like indie guy, and he's in a ring practicing. He has this kind of Razor's Edge move, right? Mm-hmm. And he flips him and catches him and does a follow slam.
Interesting. Okay.
And he wrote like, "Hey, yo, check this out," right, and all this stuff. Like, and I wanted to write like, so you did all that just do a fallaway slam? Wouldn't it be easier to pick the guy up and just throw him back in a fallaway slam? Like, it just, I don't know. Like, I hate when people try to get too damn creative, and it's like, dude, you could do all these million different type of moves, but unless you have psychology, you tell a good story, and you guys can sell and can register, like all that shit doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah. I hear you. I get it. It's just like, it's the same exact move that I did, what the ending part is, but you just did a little flashier way. And it's like, how much did that really, quote, help you take out your opponent? I mean, if anything, the opponent was just extra cooperative and helped setting up that move. But, next up was the quote Cinematic match, as we mentioned earlier. So Vincent, Matt Taven, they have a long history, as you know, with the Kingdom, and Vincent joined the Kingdom after Adam Cole left. So it's really interesting, Ring of Honor for me, as I'm trying to learn more about their history. All the amazing talented guys who've come through there in the last 19 years. But, Adam Cole, his previous faction, the Kingdom, and Vincent took his spot. So him and Taven are very close. They had the falling out. Vincent got repackaged like a Rob Zombie cosplay look-alike here with the dreadlocks and his look. And going back to December, they had their issues, especially when Mike Bennett came back, and they're all going at it. So it looks like it was wrestled at their old gym that they, I guess, trained at or did shows at, like an old school gymnasium with the bolted down chairs, auditorium.
Cool little spot. I like
I was like, that's cool.
And they had like a training ring in the same building, I guess.
With the storage unit with the water bottles and everything, toilet paper was all in that one room.
Overall, for a cinematic match, I thought this was one of the better ones.
Mm-hmm.
I liked if it would have just been Taven's own cameraman's perspective the whole time. Because the first time, okay, this is cool. He's bringing a cameraman. Like, he set it up. He has a camera. He's talking to the cameraman. They go into this building. But right when they cut to the shot of the camera shooting down from the top stairs down, they're walking in the building. I was like, oh. But, they did kind of cover up and say that, ROH did send a camera crew.
Okay.
I think I think Chris Coleman actually said that. I think someone had to say something because it was kind of weird why this cameraman were there.
Yeah, I like that because also, I mean, it was very basic traditional as far as the babyface enters, the heel is up high or wherever hiding out, calling them, teasing them. Babyface goes chases them, and I like how they start in that practice room, that storage room with the ring. And yeah, I mean, there were points where they would cut to the other cameraman and you could see the other cameraman standing there. So it's like, oh wait, so there's more than one person in this room documenting this.
They should have said, or they could have said, Matt Taven had his own cameraman, Vincent had his own cameraman. We got the footage. We cut it all up to make, to present it here on pay-per-view for you guys.
Yeah.
Here's what we saw. It was a wild situation. Like, get us pumped up. Like, this was crazy.
Yeah.
We're going to show it to you now.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't edit anything other than splicing it all together. That's all they did. They didn't cut anything out. And it was pretty good overall. I thought they were aggressive. They fought. The only thing I thought was silly was when the practice ring that Matt Taven decides to do a dive out onto Vincent, he goes right into those, those ladders that are lined up outside that ring, and the wall's only 2 feet away. So that was kind of crazy, but it looks stupid. Like, why would you dive out on someone? Like, they should just kept the brawling, and you can talk about the finish, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. Yeah,
I like how they kind of used the whole setup. They went from that room, they went down the stairs, they went to this chairs, and teasing, maybe falling over the ledge. I mean, so I kind of like how they used their whole facility to take out their grudge between the two of them. Ultimately, see Taven set up the tables on the floor, and then Taven was dragged upstairs, and he went to hit the cutter off the balcony before a large man ran in, shoved both of them off the balcony through the tables. He then picked up Vincent and carried him out the building, ending the cinematic match. And as Wikipedia says, it was a no contest. So as great as it was, this great match, ultimately no winner, though. So I'm like, okay, this is probably going to carry on once again. But I don't know who that big guy was. I didn't really have the chance to look it up. But
I think it was Bill Carr, I think. Indie guy, used to be in a tag team.
Okay.
They used to do a kind of comedy gimmick, but I think now he's powerful hillbilly or something, possibly. I don't know. But I like the finish, and I liked at first. I'm like, well, who's this guy knocking these two guys off? Why do you not? But then I liked how he sacrificed, his leader, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
To take out Tavis. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah. And so next up we see Quinn McKay in the ring, brings out Maria Kanellis, and then Angelina Love, Mandy Leon came out, and they just announced there's going to be a women's tournament, to crown a new women's champion later this summer, and then Quinn McKay and Angelina Love are going to have a match. So look forward to that as well. And then next up was Jonathan Gresham defending the ROH Pure Championship against Dak Draper. I mean, it was definitely a story of big guy versus the little guy. I like Jonathan Gresham, just like smaller guy was just kicking Dak Draper's legs over and over. It was almost like he's trying to cut down a tree. I mean, it was just like bam, bam. I really enjoyed that part of it. But I know for you probably thought it was like definitely one of the great, better matches of the night as well.
Had a really good finish. I like this match. I like the story they told. Jonathan Gresham's really good. 5'4", but they call him the octopus because he does all these amazing reversals, counter reversals. He's just like a really fun worker to watch. Dak Draper, I remember seeing him on the Future of Honor stuff. Like on YouTube, they would show they used to have like Future Honor matches. And so these young guys, I just kind of checked those out, and I saw him, really tall, lanky guy, good look. I don't know if I heard his promo and I couldn't. I don't know if I was really believing his promo, but I think he's still young, and I like that he came out and he had his shirt on. He like three off. He took another one off, and it's they say they had three of the same shirt, and I think Priest Coleman said that's what happens when you don't sell your merchandise. Like,
yes, I like that a lot.
That busted everyone up. That was a pretty funny line. But the finish is great with because the pure rules you have. You can't punch, disqualification, and each guys get 3 rope breaks. So if you're in a submission, you can break it, but then after you do it 3 times, you can still be submitted or pinned within the ropes. So you lose that rope break, and they both quickly, lost their rope breaks. And Jonathan Gresham, towards the end, dives from the outside onto Dak Draper, locks on a sleeper, and Dak Draper's fighting. They both had the rope breaks. Fine, they go back into the ring. Gresham still has that sleeper hold on. Draper's still in the ropes, and he has it locked in, and he just passes out. And I just thought it was great. Really good finish.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great strategy. Just the smaller guy taking out the big guy. It's like, okay, you worked on his leg throughout the match, and then when you put the submission hold, the rear naked choke on him, the sleeper on him, knock him out, and then his legs just give out under him, and he just keeps on it, doesn't let go. But yeah, that suicide dive on the outside to jump on his back and lock him in. Awesome spot as well. So just know this match was a lot of fun. So do yourself a favor and watch this one as well. Then next up, the tag team match for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. It was the Foundation. So it was Rake, Titus, and Tracy Williams taking on LFI's members, La Bestia del Ring and Kenny King. This match, I mean, it's just crazy that La Bestia, am I pronouncing it right? I'm probably butchering it, but Bestia, yeah. So that is Roosh and Dragon Lee's dad.
Yeah.
So he's going out there still doing his thing. So I'm like, I guess that's kind of cool. You have a faction with your dad. I mean,
yeah.
So the Foundation, I mean, like, once again, their whole mission statement is get all the titles, purify it all. So, LFI, they, were going out there doing their thing, and, it was a good match, I thought, overall. I mean, what happened afterwards, it looks like, there's trouble in paradise with LFI. How about you? What'd you think of this one?
It was one of the weaker matches. I wasn't feeling it. Plus, like I said earlier, I wasn't really impressed with Kenny King and Tracy Williams in the opener, and then now they're, because of circumstances with Dragon Lee has an injury, a busted eardrum or something like that. He's not going to be in this match, so now I got to see Kenny King again, and I also got to see Tracy Williams again, and even Rhett Titus, who is a good worker, but he's been there. He's another guy who's been there forever too, and I don't know, just I kind of curious to see Bestia in the ring because I don't think I've ever seen too much of his lucha stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he wasn't that impressive. He does a lot. He's just an older guy, a lot of wear and tear. Nothing against him, but it just wasn't. This just wasn't a good one. And then at the end, I guess they got rid of the manager.
Yeah, so they lost. They're pissed off at Amy Rose, and at first Amy Rose flipped them off and was ready to walk out, but then Kenny King was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then had Bestia spear her. So yeah, I guess they officially kicked her out. I'm like, oh damn, that sucks. They kick her out, but I laugh. So the Foundation won the tag title. So they almost have all the gold, and last but not least, the main event, Jay Lethal trying to get back the Ring of Honor World Championship from Rush. But it was funny. So they kick out Amy Rose, they spear her, and then they go into the video package for the main event. Rush is cutting a promo, and she's right there next to him.
Yeah,
it's a pre-taped thing, but so it's just funny. It's Rush with, Dragon Lee, Kenny King, Bestia, and Amy Rose, who just got kicked out, but she's right there next to him. So I just kind of laughed, like, oh, kind of like storytelling, a little bit off, a little bit timing.
What do you think? Like, this group was cool, but then you got Kenny King. And I figure, I think, God, The Rocket just does not like Kenny King. I mean, no, I'm not like that at all. I just, he doesn't impress me in the ring, but also, like, for me, he doesn't fit this group.
I see, that's the thing. I was like, I don't know the history, but I was like, how did he end up in a lucha group? Like, I'm just confused. I just don't know the history and how he ended up there.
But how does he fit in with? Because it's all Los Ingobernables, right? That's the whole
Is that part of like the family tree? Yeah.
Yeah, and it connects with Naito and all those guys over there.
Gotcha.
His group,
okay.
So, but does Kenny King fit in that group too? Like, of all the ROH guys they had at the time, like he was the one they put in. I mean, I guess I can go back and watch the footage, but how does he fit in? He just doesn't fit. It's almost like kind of how Santana Ortiz just don't fit in with Jericho. To me,
Mm-hmm.
like they don't look like they would hang out. Same thing with like Kenny King and Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe they do get along. I mean, maybe it does. Off behind the camera, but to me, in front of the camera, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I hear exactly. Well, then speaking of Rush, so him and Jay Lethal go at it. Jay Lethal, the goal is to win the title again, be a three-time champion, ROH champion. Rush do that entrance, that big white. I was gonna say Buffalo, the bull
mask,
yeah, that mask and his fur coat was awesome. Dude, but this match was really good, really entertaining. It was almost 19 minutes long, 18 and a half minutes long, but I mean, Rush is so good. I don't know too much of his work, but like as far as like the cocky heel, he's beating up Jay Lethal outside, takes the water, throws it on himself, and just being just super cocky, posing, arm in the air, very much like what Naito's has done. But no, I really enjoyed this match. It was a lot of fun here.
Yeah, this is where Naito got all that stuff when he went to Mexico and he was paired with those guys. So he took that gimmick to Mexico and ended up being one of the most popular gimmicks in Japan. Los Ingobernables de Japón. And but Rush he's tremendous. Like he's such a great heel, such a tremendous charisma, like off the charts charisma. I even like I love this match. Because one, Jay Lethal's really damn good. He's so talented. I would love to see him kind of go somewhere else, honestly, because I feel like he's been there so long. But personally, I would love to see him in like NXT. I think he would have a lot of great matches. The guys, he'd be a great improvement for AEW to sign. Obviously, like at the quality of ring work, but he's so good. And they had a great match here. I love the point where like Lethal's making a comeback and Rush just gets pissed and grabs him by the throat, and he's like man, that was like so believable. Like he just said "fuck you," and like it was just awesome.
I will say, go back to you saying Lethal should go to NXT. Then definitely he'll be under the WWE umbrella. Then maybe him and Ric Flair can reunite. Have a new promo together, an updated woo-wah, woo. Anyway, sorry. That's one could dream, one can hope.
I just think he perfect. To me, he'd be perfect for WWE personally. But but this match was really good. I know they had the finish with the interference or the attempted interference and all that, but I understand that's part of the story they're going forward. So it didn't really bother me that much. Of course, I would like just a straight, clean finish because I was totally digging this match. But I get what they're setting up for the future. But yeah, to me, this was the best match on the show. And it's
Yeah.
the main event, so hey, they did their job.
Yeah, I mean, I like how when both factions come out and try to defend their guy. So
I will
Rush
say
hit
the
this.
timing on that was the poop stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, it just like, it, I don't know, it looked awkward. One guy went right, the other guy went left. And like, oh no, I gotta fight this. It just looked kind of not that well organized. And also, I thought it was funny. Remember early in the night where Jay Lethal has that little moment with the referee, and he goes like, "Don't disqualify, don't do this, don't do that. They like to cheat, you know." And here's my theory. First of all, I think this seemed like it was a rush thing to film because it was so fast and so quick. And I think to make the blatant interference, or maybe with the chair by Rush, they're like, let's make it make sense because it's gonna look funny when I get hit with a chair. There's no disqualification. I don't know. To me, I think like they're trying to cover up some like, you know, a thing that Rush wanted to do with the chair. I don't know. It just looked weird to me. And plus, what babyfaces begs a referee not to disqualify? Like, I've never seen a top babyface do that. Like, it looked like whiny to me. You know, I don't like to see Jay Lethal doing that.
When obviously they showed that segment earlier in the night, that was foreshadowing the finish right there. I'm like, oh, okay, so there's going to be some chair incorporated into the finish here. But yeah, I mean, Rush hit Superman forearm on Lethal, then hit the corner drop kick on Lethal, but Lethal rolled to the floor, escaping the finish. Then Rush looked just frustrated, tried to get Lethal back in the ring, and then Rush went for it again and hit a second drop kick and managed to pin Lethal. But I like his finish where it's like that. He lines in the corner, sprints at you, and drop kicks you in the face. It's just like a torpedo coming at you. I love that finish, and you know, he did it a couple times just to really knock out Jay Lethal. And so LFI are celebrating. They're attacking the Foundation, and it was interesting. So we see Brody King come out and talk about how Rush almost won the match, but he had to use help from his family, obviously. But now he has some numbers of his own. Tony Deppen comes out. He wasn't alone. We see Chris Dickinson and Homicide run out to the ring, and they attack or scare off LIF, and then they beat up the Foundation in the ring. So Brody King has his own little faction going now as well. So I guess good for them. They're going to probably take on the Foundation moving forward now, if I had to guess. But really cool. Chris Dickinson, who's been, you know, doing stuff Primetime Live, and just doing work. New Japan Strong. So really cool, just that crossover with New Japan and Ring of Honor. I mean, we know their history together, working together. So what do you think of this kind of new group? Kind of a mixture of different people as well.
I'm a big Brody King fan. I like that guy a lot. Great guy too, by the way. But like, I think his weakness is his promo. He came out and I was like, oh man, he definitely needs a manager. Or maybe just more experience talking. So maybe with this new gimmick as being this leader of this faction, he'll get more opportunities to talk, and so he'll get confidence and get better, more practice. But when he said like, I have a group of my own, and I didn't know who it was. Al Kane, this little guy, and I'm like, dude, that was a.
I was like, who's this?
And I didn't realize it was Tony Depp, and I've heard the name. I think I've seen a match or two, but like when he came out, like, you know, he remember Ace Ventura when what's that guy? What's his name on that? Cuchiocho or something. I don't know. My wife knows the.
What part in Ace Ventura?
You know when the guy is that Bill Bellamy? It was. Tommy Davidson from In Living Color. Yeah, he comes out as that the warrior fighter that he's gonna fight. Remember? That's what came out like.
The Ace Ventura 2. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay,
sorry. Yeah,
I was thinking the laces are out.
My wife hears this. She's like, "You're an idiot. It's Ace Ventura 2.
Ace Ventura 2. Yes, the second one. Yes.
Is that Quincha Ocha or something like that? I don't know. Flicksters, let me know. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm not good at, you know. I'm usually good at movie trivia, but not this one. But, and that's what I thought. Like, I'm like, oh man, like, and then it was, you know, then they had like, Homicide and Chris Dixon. Cool, that's a good signing. Chris Dixon's a good signing. Get on your roster. I like him a lot. Homicide, you know, it's whatever. He's a little long time veteran. Has ROH, so Kind of fits with Brody King, so
Yeah, I mean,
works.
so earlier I mentioned Andrade. I know he's a free agent, no 90-day non-compete clause. He can go take bookings anywhere. I don't, I mean, like, sure, people think, oh, go to AEW, but it's like, they got a bunch of people already now. Impact would probably be good just because he can really stand out there. But I think, you know, Ring of Honor could be really good for him. And he's buddies with all those guys, I think, from CMLL. So I don't know. I think Ring of Honor could be a good fit for him. I don't know. Like, obviously, probably wouldn't do a long term or something, but maybe a short deal there.
Actually, it could be technically the long term because think about this: once the world opens up again, don't forget it's, you know, I know right now New Japan has a lot of relationships with a little bit of Impact, a little bit of AEW,
Ring of Honor.
Really, the core collective, I guess, is New Japan, ROH, and CMLL.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, Andrade can go either or. You know, you can work all three and just do some shows in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
You know, focus on ROH and then do some special shows for New Japan. I think it's a win-win for him there. Honestly.
I think so. So just Andrade, if you're listening, I know you did a shoot interview the other day. Just listen to this. That we already booked your career for the next couple of years. Go do it. So follow
I think
it
it
along.
makes sense. And what every G1 always has a nice surprise. I think he'd be a great one for G1. You know, and he's so good. And it's unfortunate that it didn't work out on the main roster. You know, I'm not saying it didn't work out in WWE. He seems to have a lot of nice things to say overall.
Yeah.
And I think, especially NXT, I think Triple H really got him.
Yep.
Knew what to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, unfortunately, it's once you go up there, you know, it's Vince McMahon's call, and you know, and some guys make it, some guys don't, and he was unfortunately one of the guys that don't. But I always thought, like, how can he miss this guy? Sure, he's not the promo guy, but you got Selena Vega there, and also I thought, you know, expose the relationship he has with Charlotte, and when she is the queen of WWE, right? That's her deal. He should have been the one that won King of the Ring and been the king, and you got the king and the queen in WWE. I thought it would have been perfect.
John, you should be working for WWE and planning all this out right now. But no, overall,
I would make that pitch and then be like, "Nah, we're gonna go a different direction." But that'd be okay. I don't care. Let's go to another thing.
Oh man. So no, I'm overall I'm glad I watched the 19th anniversary. If you have a chance, check it out on Fight TV. Do yourself a solid and just Ring of Honor. I definitely want to try to keep track of them more and see what they do next, what other people they can add to the roster. I know it's a juggling act of all these other promotions doing shows, but yeah, I'm really glad we watched this and talk about it. So good stuff.
And it's like what? $7.99 if you just join the Honor Club for a month and give it a shot. Just to check out the pay-per-view, and also you can check out some of the other content, and maybe it's a service that you would like to keep. Yeah, no, so FYI, the pay-per-view you just want to buy it is just $20 on Fight, but if you do the $10, the $9.99, subscribe to Honor Club, you can still watch it and then watch everything else there. And if you want, you can cancel or just keep supporting them. So I'll leave it out to the clicksters, but no, it's, totally doable. So, check it out. Okay. So two things I want to touch on real quick. So NWA Power, the second episode was today, and we talked about NXT UK lastly. NWA Power, we'll kind of just power through this real quick. The big story, Trevor Murdoch coming out, confronting Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis more or less was just bragging. He has a condition that he just wins all the time. So very cool, cocky as the NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Trevor Murdoch confronts him and they're going back and forth. And he says, I've been out a week. Chris Adonis beat me up so bad and you guys attacked me or I was beat up and had to miss time. I couldn't work and make money for my family. They acknowledge.
I love this segment, opening segment. I thought it was great, but like, I wish you to be out for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I mean, a 1 week deal. I know. Hey,
they're all taping on one day.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Nick Aldis, that was cool. They both, he acknowledged that both of them were from like Harley Race's, wrestling school and knew of him. But like Nick Aldis says, what's like rule number 1, don't ever turn your back on your opponent. And then Chris Adonis comes out, starts beating him up. Really and then, it led to, the main event match of the night. So Trevor Murdoch wanted to challenge Chris Adonis and put his own the NWA national title on the line, not worldwide title, worldwide national title, as some people on that show have called it. Sorry, I'm sorry. I still can't get over that one.
She was back.
Trevor Murdoch, a no DQ match for the NWA National Championship against Chris Adonis. I enjoyed this main event here as far as Trevor Murdoch coming out with the neck brace and selling the injury still, and then Chris Adonis just really capitalizing on that situation there.
How good is Trevor Murdoch? So good. Like his selling. I already have a bad neck, but my neck was hurting watching him. Like, oh, he was so good. This is what's a positive about NWA Power. It's a smaller group of guys and gals, but they have these veterans that, like we talked about last time when we talked about pay-per-view, who've been on television, who understand how to work. It's like, they got professionals on the show. It really comes off in the quality work. And this match was really good. I didn't really get the no disqualification stip. Nothing truly big. Like, I don't think there was any kind of foreign object used. It was just, they fought around the ring a little bit. The neck brace was used. Choking him. The neck brace was used. But a referee can do that's an easy, 1, 2, then, let it, because the ref's letting it go a little bit because it's a title match.
Yeah.
They brought it on the ring, but that's easily, you can break counts. You can do that without, I don't understand. The no disqualification did not make sense at all to me, but whatever. It didn't take away from the match. It was still really damn good. And, Adonis is really good. He understands. He's charismatic and great look, good worker. I just thought that the opening angle and the finish of the show, the main event, was tremendous.
I mean, growing up, or, when Chris Masters was in WWE, his first run, when I watched him, he always reminded me, I think I said before, Paul Orndorff. I mean, just big, muscular, cocky guy that, and so I'm just glad he still kind of does that gimmick. And then, he dominated this match working on Trevor Murdoch's neck. Murdoch was just at disadvantage the whole time with the neck injury and just selling that. And both these guys both have history in WWE. So as you said, the veterans, I mean, just from an older knowledge of storytelling, and also Trevor Murdoch, just so old school, as I said, just part of knowing Harley Race. So all that stuff was great. So Nick Aldis was on commentary, which was great. We didn't have Velvet Sky there doing her ASMR commentary.
Okay, there's two things that could have made that opening angle perfect if they weren't involved. It was the 1 week thing, injury. I didn't like that. They could have milked that for at least 3 weeks. And when Chris Adonis attacks Trevor Murdoch, this is Velvet Sky's call of it. Oh no. Oh my. Yeah. Ooh, this is horrible. And I'm like, shut up. Let Joe Galley get into it and really get over this deal. My
God, what's going on here, man?
I was Joe Galley, I just reach over, pull her cord off her headset. Mike, just get the, because what's going on? And then Austin Idol came out for he's managing Tyrus, the former Brodus Clay, and they had a transition from Velvet Sky get out of the seat, and Tim Storm's like, you gotta get out of here. I just protect you. It's like, okay, yeah.
Tim Storm was the MVP tonight or today, getting her out.
Beautiful girl, but damn, dude. I don't know. This is the right job for her.
I know. I haven't had a chance to look it up. I'm kind of curious how she got this job. If that's something she's wants to do. No, but not wrestle anymore, but still be involved in the business. Like I said, if she has dreams of doing this stuff, but like I said before, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect as far as as a broadcaster. None of us are. We all have things we can work on. Someone's got to help her and just get better and just get some more energy and maybe do some we call it air check sessions, where you listen back to yourself and you break it down, the good and the bad and what to focus on, how to get better and practice. So, like I said, I hope she does well and does, get better at this. But just, man, these first 2 episodes so far, I'm just like, whoa, it's just, I'm sorry. Like, it just.
Joe Galli and Tim Stormer are great twosome. Like,
yeah.
Why does everyone have to go to a 3-person booth? I don't understand it. And everyone in the world says 3-person booths just don't work. It's always the 2. It's the 2 is better.
Yeah.
But everyone seems to be doing this 3-man booths. I don't understand.
At least their table was bigger that covered all the surface space for all
this
3 of them.
This is what I would do. My suggestion after 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Velvet Sky would be the backstage interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
And that girl that have doing the backstage interviewing, who's
April May, is that her name? I think. Yeah.
She's having a hard time. It's like the segment this week was just, what are you doing here? Like, it was like
with Kratos and yeah.
I would make her a valet for someone.
Yeah. That's what she
Chris
was.
Adonis, like Chris Adonis or someone, like that's.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The good call right there. So Adonis, he's not officially part of Strictly Business, but he's like an acquaintance. So, but it looks like Strictly Business is starting to add gold to their group. So that's kind of cool what Nick Aldis is trying to build up right now. So I'm excited for that. Overall, still, fun show overall as far as, let me see what else we saw. Slice Boogie defeat Jeremiah Plunkett. Tyrus defeated Matthew Mims. That match, I was really surprised. I was watching with my brother that how much offense Matthew got on Tyrus. Tyrus, the big monster, and the other guy got a lot of offense on him. And then there were sometimes he looked a little lost in the ring. I get it. Matthew's probably a really young green guy. And Tyrus, as the veteran, I think would kind of take more control in the ring. But even still, he just looked winded. And the other guy, I think, was trying to react to Tyrus in that situation. But I was laughing because, oh my God, I'm blanking. Tyrus's manager, the guy who came up with Hulkamania. Yeah, Austin Idol. He's just on the micro, just shouting stuff, and we were just more listening to him than watching the match.
He overshadows everyone.
Yeah.
He's such a great. He's one of the great promos in wrestling. You should look up Austin Idol, Tommy Rich versus Jerry Lawler. Like, that stuff was just amazing stuff. 1987,
dude.
Yeah, that kid, he got a lot of offense, but Brodus, I keep calling him Brodus, but Tyrus, he was never bumping or anything for him. It was just a little bounce to the ropes kind of deal.
Yeah,
it went a little too long. Like, you could have cut that off short, quicker.
And then we saw the Pope and Fred Rosser cut a promo, so their match for the NWA television title will be bumped next week. And then, Thunder Rosa and Alex Gracia taking on Sky Blue and Genocide. Ultimately, a good match so far. And then Camille jumped in to spear Thunder Rosa. We saw Melina on commentary as well. So it looks like Thunder Rosa and Camille, their situation. Again, yeah, it's not done.
Didn't Camille just beat her for the number 1 contenders?
Yeah.
So I don't understand. Like, that's why I didn't understand. Like, why did she come out of the blue just to spear Thunder Rosa?
And she already had the victory.
When they just let this match be a finish and then have Camille come out and just maybe cut a promo towards Serena Deeb for the NWA title?
Yeah, exactly. Call her shot. Like, hey, I won last week. Get out, Thunder Rosa. I beat you already. So. I'm with you. Just kind of confused.
Be upset that they wasted TV time on Thunder Rosa, a girl that she beat, but she's the number 1 contender for the NWA title. She could be a little heat on that, and then cut a promo to Serena Deeb. Like, I don't know.
Instead, Camille stared down Melina who's outside the ring. So I don't know. Melina's going to wrestle,
which is a horrible name to have for.
Yeah.
2021 or forever.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't like that at all. Like, I don't like the look. Like, I don't like, what the hell is that?
I was like,
character?
Full silver face paint. Yeah, is it? So I guess she's going to try to take on Camille, but I guess if they have a match, I guess Camille will probably win just to solidify she took out someone bigger than her and just add more to her resume. So
the best part of this women's tag team match is when Thunder Rosa and Alex Gracia did a double team, and Gracia tries to go for a cover, but Thunder Rosa's legal. And, like, they're both covering at the same time. The referee's like, get the hell out of here. And I was like, oh, my God. Classic.
So, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of nuggets like that on NW Power to check out. So do yourself a favor. Watch it over on Fight TV. Subscribe. Support the NWA. help Billy Corgan so that way he has. I was going to say, I wonder how much Smashing Pumpkins money. I wonder if tonight, his big single from the 90s, does that help pay for the NWA? I always think about that. Every time Smashing Pumpkins on the radio now, does that help pay for the NWA? That's how I like to think.
I just feel like if I worked for them, I'd be like, the world is a vampire. Right. I would probably say that every time I walk in the building, like.
I will admit, so I met Billy Corgan once. He performed at our sister station. Came in, I watched him, and of course, I grew up loving Smashing Pumpkins, but I knew he was a big wrestling fan. And so when he was in the hallway, I introduced myself, and I said I work at the rock station here, and we just talked wrestling for like probably 10 minutes. I was like, I didn't want to like, hey, you remember Tonight? That was a great song. I love it. Instead, we just talked.
Tonight their biggest song?
I guess I remember the MTV VMAs. They performed it back in the day. I mean, I'm with you. I love Bullets with Butterfly Wings. God, it's been so long since I've
heard. Right?
Yeah, today is the great. Yeah. But I just talked wrestling with him, and his eyes opened up, and he was so cool to talk just wrestling with. He just ended his partnership with TNA at the time, so still a little bit of a sour note with him at that point. But it was just cool talking wrestling with him. So if you ever see Billy Corgan, just talk wrestling, and he'll open up to you. So good stuff. All right, last but not least, before we wrap things up, NXT UK this week. What a main event. John, I saw your post about it over on the Fight Game Podcast Facebook group, which I recommend everyone check that out. It's such a great group. Sam Gradwell took on Ilya Dragunov in a no DQ match. I watched it before we record tonight with my brother, and I knew it was a good match when my brother went, whoa, multiple times in this match. Please tell the Clicksters, why do you love this match? I love the analogy you used for this one.
It was so intense, so physical, so dramatic. Like, I felt their hatred. It's the same way I feel when I watch my favorite match of all time, Ric Flair versus Terry Funk, I Quit. Like, there's no like nudge, wink. There's no silliness. And it's a fight. And it's not like it was a no disqualification match. And there was no, we grabbed a random cane under the ring, right? Like, I don't understand why the ring crew needs canes under the ring. I don't know how they need to set those up, but there happen to be a bunch there at wrestling shows these days. And you just table spot, overdone table spot. They used plunder that was available to them. You know, there was chairs under the ring and stuff, but I can see that. There's no audience, but whatever. I'm okay with that. But they used the steps, they used the ring bell, they used the exposed turnbuckle, and they just. So physical. They do the no audience the best. There's a little bit of atmosphere, like a really tiny crowd noise, but it doesn't really stand out, and you can hear every shot, every slap. These guys are tremendous, and it was like, and when it was over, I watched, I'm like, this is a hell of a performance. Why aren't people talking about this more? I mean, to me, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best matches of the year. I think. A lot of people talk about Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker because there's a lot of blood and stuff like that. But this, if you think that was good, this is just, I'm saying 100 times better, personally.
It's interesting. I remember Richard a while back, what he always said was that you can be violent without having blood. And this has that as far as the hard hitting, the slaps, using the the chairs here, but the hard hitting, and you hear all the slaps and the sound, and it's still very violent, and it comes off like, as you said, two guys hate each other and taking it out. So I'm with you. No blood is needed for this situation. So very much like Dragunov's match with Walter, just the violence there and how it just shows just the pain and everything here. So from a story standpoint, I love it. When they used the steps earlier in the match, and at one point Dragunov did like a Matrix, he fell back and then jumped back up. But literally it was a banger match because Gradwell used the ring bell to hit Dragunov, and Dragunov sold it. I mean, Dragunov, his screams a little, a little over the top. But they did, they fell on the big stack of chairs on the outside. So good. I'm with you. Like I said, I took your recommendation. I watched it and I love this match. Dragunov, and he's been kind of post Walter match. He snaps in the ring. So he lost it here, lost control, when Gradwell struck him with a chop. And that's kind of like the thing when he gets choppy, like snaps, that goes crazy mode. So he started hitting him with several fierce punches, spine buster onto the pile of chairs, and he started just punching him in the face, and then he was knocked out. So the ref stopped it. So Dragunov picked up the victory here. So great stuff,
I'm
man.
hoping that
Loved
Dragunov is the guy that beats Walter for the title. I think he needs to be the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, they could do the title change at TakeOver Ciampa. There's also, I don't like how they kind of put this together because it kind of exposes Ciampa might not win because NXT has their own big show WrestleMania week, NXT UK Prelude, and the main event is Walter versus Rampage Brown, which is going to be an awesome match. But now it's like you have that match and you have this title match on Wednesday. Same thing happened with the Trent Seven, Jordan Devlin match from NXT UK the last. I just wish they would kind of space them out more. But
it kind of foreshadows.
They could do something and say, "Hey, this was previously recorded."
Yeah, but kind of foreshadows like, okay, Walter's probably defeating Ciampa, therefore storyline. He's defending the next day on NXT UK TV, so he's gonna have the belt there.
I was hoping Walter wasn't defending the title in NXT Takeover. I think what they could have done is Thatcher, Ciampa versus Walter and Alexander Wolf. Just tease stuff for the future. But I know they're loading it up obviously because
great match.
I highly recommend people to watch NXT UK. It's an hour. It's really good.
Well, it's on Peacock.
It's on Peacock. Recently, they had one little. Oh man, I don't like it. I don't like it, baby Huey. I don't like this, man. It's there's the Isla Dawn, who was like this Wiccan witch, right? She was doing some kind of seance stuff, whatever. She goes up, has a good match against this girl, and when she gets in the back, she's like you can hear the voices talking to her, and like Kaylee Ray, the champion, walks by, and I guess she can't hear those voices because she's just like, okay, you're a nut. But I'm like, leave the supernatural stuff. That can stay on Raw.
Yeah.
This is my 1 hour of just good pro wrestling. Please don't bring this wackiness in.
No, I hear ya. So I recommend everyone check it out. So good. And I will save it in the back burner of my brain for at the end of the year for match of the year contender. So like I said, thank you again for that recommendation. So, all right, let's start wrapping things up. John, where can the Clicksters find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at LaRoccaJL, and you can also follow the Fight Game Media Podcast Twitter at Fight Game Media. And we're on Patreon. We have a lot of great shows. Check us out.
Awesome. I'm Baby Huey. Of course, follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. Subscribe to In the Click on your favorite podcast platform, intheclick@gmail.com. Follow us at In the Click on your favorite social media platform as well. Get the merch, all that good stuff. It's a busy week this week, next week, WrestleMania, so much stuff. So please subscribe. That way you can stay up to date when all new episodes drop, with all the big coverage coming up, with all the great shows coming up. So thank you in advance to all the Clicksters for the support. And on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.